Ever experienced a bond so deep that it transcends words? Meet Emma and her beloved dog Charlie, who embarked on a heartwarming journey filled with love, challenges, and resilience. Their story reminds us of the incredible connection we can share with our furry friends, but it also highlights the difficult choices we sometimes must make. Join us as we explore their touching adventure, and if you love heartwarming tales like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Pawprints Forever. Like this video and share it with friends, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps us continue sharing these beautiful stories. Now let's begin. It was a crisp autumn morning in a small town in the heart of America. Leaves crunched underfoot as they painted the sidewalks in hues of orange and gold. The sun had just begun its ascent, casting a warm glow over the sleepy streets. Families were starting their day, with the aroma of fresh coffee wafting through the air from local cafes. Among them was Emma, a kind-hearted woman in her late 30s, who took her daily walk through the park before heading to her job at the local library. As she strolled along her usual path, she admired the beauty around her. Children were laughing, dogs were barking, and the world seemed alive. However, today felt different. There was an unsettling quietness that hung in the air, as if nature itself was holding its breath. As Emma approached the old stone bridge that spanned the small creek, she heard a faint sound that tugged at her heartstrings, a soft whimpering, barely audible over the gentle rush of water. She paused, her brow furrowing with concern. The noise was coming from beneath the bridge. Curiosity piqued, Emma made her way to the edge of the bridge, peering down into the shadows below. There, huddled against the cold, damp earth, was a small, scruffy dog with matted fur and big, pleading eyes. The dog looked up at her, its tail tucked between its legs, and let out another soft whine that resonated with deep sadness. "Oh, you poor thing," Emma murmured, her heart aching for the little creature. She felt an overwhelming urge to help, but she knew she had to be cautious. The dog seemed terrified, its body trembling as it pressed itself against the rough stone wall. Emma took a deep breath and knelt down, speaking softly to avoid startling it. "Hey there, little one. It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to help," she said gently, extending her hand slowly. The dog flinched at first, but then cautiously moved closer, sniffing the air as it assessed the situation. Emma could see that the dog had likely been abandoned. Its ribs were showing, and its coat was dull and dirty. She felt a wave of sadness wash over her, knowing that this innocent creature had faced hardships alone, hidden away from the world. "I'll get you out of here," she promised, determination swelling inside her. She stood up and looked around, hoping to find something she could use to lure the dog out. There was a small park nearby, and she remembered seeing a vendor selling hot dogs earlier. Maybe he had some leftover scraps. Emma rushed to the vendor, explaining the situation as she purchased a couple of hot dogs. With the snacks in hand, she hurried back to the bridge, her heart racing with both excitement and worry. The dog was still there, watching her approach with cautious eyes. "Look what I have," Emma called softly, kneeling down once again and holding out a piece of the hot dog. The little creature sniffed the air, and for a moment it seemed to hesitate. But hunger won over fear, and the dog slowly crept closer, inching its way toward her. Emma's heart soared as it took a tentative nibble from her hand. "You're going to be okay," she reassured it, her voice soothing as she offered more of the food. The dog devoured it hungrily, and Emma couldn't help but smile through her tears. She felt an immediate connection with this little soul, a bond formed through shared vulnerability and the desire for safety. After finishing the hot dog, the dog looked up at her, its eyes now glistening with gratitude. Emma knew she had to act quickly. If she didn't get the dog out of this cold, dark place soon, it might not survive. She rummaged through her backpack and pulled out a spare leash she always carried for her own dog, Max, hoping it would fit. "Let's get you out of here, buddy," she said, carefully slipping the leash around the dog's neck. The little creature flinched but didn't resist, as if it sensed that Emma was there to help. With a gentle tug, She coaxed it out from under the bridge, and as soon as it stepped into the sunlight, Emma felt her heart swell with joy. The dog stood there, blinking in the bright light, before finally taking a few hesitant steps forward. Emma crouched down, her eyes locked on the dog's, and whispered, "You're safe now. I promise." As she led the dog away from the bridge, Emma felt a sense of purpose she hadn't experienced in years. This was just the beginning of their story together, and she was determined to give this little one the love and care it so desperately needed. Little did she know this was just the first chapter of a journey that would change both their lives forever. As Emma and the little dog made their way back to her home, a flurry of emotions surged within her. The dog, whom she affectionately named Charlie, was still timid, glancing around nervously as they passed other pedestrians. Emma gently reassured him, stroking his scruffy fur with her free hand, hoping to instill some confidence in him. Upon arriving home, Emma settled Charlie into her cozy living room, filled with soft cushions and sunlight streaming through the large windows. She had always loved her space, but it felt different now. It was as if the walls themselves were welcoming this new addition. She had a little crate, a leftover from when Max was a puppy, that she set up in the corner with a soft blanket inside. "Here you go, Charlie. This is your new home," she said, gesturing to the crate. The dog sniffed the air, slowly approaching the makeshift bed. Emma watched with bated breath as Charlie hesitated for a moment before curling up inside, his eyes closing in exhaustion. It broke her heart to see him so worn out, but she was grateful that he was finally safe. After a few minutes, Emma decided to prepare some food for Charlie. She rummaged through her pantry, finding some rice and canned chicken. She boiled the rice, mixing it with the chicken, and placed the steaming bowl in front of Charlie, who looked up at her with bewildered eyes. "Go on, it's all yours," Emma encouraged, and to her delight, Charlie eagerly dug in, his tail wagging for the first time. Emma couldn't help but smile as she watched him eat, feeling a warmth spread through her heart. It was the first step in rebuilding his trust. As the days passed, Emma dedicated herself to caring for Charlie. She took him for walks around the neighborhood, gradually introducing him to the sights and sounds of the outside world. Each day, Charlie grew more confident, his spirits slowly reawakening. Emma noted how he would wag his tail at the sight of other dogs, and even attempt to play with a few of them, though he still had moments of hesitation. One afternoon, while out on a walk, they encountered an elderly woman named Mrs. Henderson, who lived a few houses down. She was sitting on her porch knitting a colorful scarf. When she saw Emma and Charlie, her eyes lit up. "Oh, what a darling little dog," she exclaimed, setting her knitting aside. "Where did you find him?" Emma felt a swell of pride as she recounted the story of how she discovered Charlie beneath the bridge. Mrs. Henderson listened intently, nodding with empathy. "Poor thing must have been through so much," she said, her voice full of compassion. "Good for you for rescuing him. He looks like he's found a wonderful home." That praise warmed Emma's heart, and she introduced Charlie to Mrs. Henderson. To her surprise, Charlie approached the elderly woman without hesitation, sniffing her hand and leaning in for a gentle pat. Emma beamed with joy, seeing how far Charlie had come in just a short time. As the weeks rolled by, Emma and Charlie became inseparable. They developed a routine that brought comfort to both of them. Every morning she would wake up to find Charlie waiting by her bedside, his big eyes full of love and hope. They would go on long walks, exploring new trails, and Emma would often bring along treats for Charlie, who had a newfound zest for life. One sunny Saturday, Emma decided to take Charlie to a local dog park. It was a place she had frequented with Max, who had passed away a year prior. Though it was hard to revisit, she felt it was time to create new memories. Charlie seemed nervous as they approached the park, his body tense and uncertain. "It's okay, buddy. We're going to have fun," Emma whispered, giving him a reassuring pat. As soon as they entered the park, Charlie's eyes widened at the sight of dogs bounding around, their owners laughing and enjoying the day. The energy was infectious, and Emma felt a spark of excitement for Charlie. At first, Charlie hung back, watching the other dogs with a mix of curiosity and fear. but Emma knelt down beside him, encouraging him to take his time. After a few minutes, a friendly golden retriever approached, wagging its tail. The dog sniffed Charlie, and to Emma's surprise, Charlie responded by cautiously wagging his own tail. With gentle nudging, Emma encouraged Charlie to join in the play. Slowly but surely, he stepped out of his comfort zone and began to interact with the other dogs. Emma watched as Charlie chased after a tennis ball thrown by a young boy, his tail a blur of happiness. She couldn't help but laugh as Charlie clumsily stumbled after it, his previous fears melting away in the joy of the moment. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the park, Emma sat on a bench, watching Charlie play with new friends. Her heart swelled with gratitude for the little dog who had brought so much light into her life. She felt a connection that was almost magical, a bond forged through their shared experiences of loss and healing. That evening, as they returned home, Emma reflected on how much Charlie had changed since she first found him. He was no longer just a scared little dog hiding under a bridge. He was a playful, loving companion who had brought joy back into her life. Emma knew that their journey together was only just beginning, and she looked forward to every adventure they would share. But little did she know, their story would soon take an unexpected turn, one that would test their bond and reveal the true power of love and loyalty. As the leaves continued to turn from green to vibrant shades of red and yellow, Emma and Charlie's bond deepened. They became a familiar sight around town, often seen walking through the park or visiting the local cafe where Charlie was greeted with treats by the staff. Emma's heart was full. She had never imagined that rescuing a dog could bring such joy and purpose to her life. One chilly evening, as Emma settled down with a warm cup of tea and a book, she noticed that Charlie was acting strangely. He was pacing around the living room, his ears perked up and his tail tucked low. Emma put her book down, concern washing over her. "What's wrong, Charlie?" she asked softly, leaning down to his level. Just then, a loud clap of thunder echoed in the distance. Charlie jumped, darting under the coffee table, trembling with fear. Emma's heart sank. She remembered how terrified Max used to be during storms. It seemed Charlie had the same anxiety. "Hey, buddy, it's okay, it's just a storm," she said gently, crawling under the table to comfort him. She wrapped her arms around him, feeling his little body shake against her. "You're safe with me, I promise." As the rain poured outside, Emma held Charlie close, whispering soothing words until the storm passed. After an hour, the thunder subsided and the rain became a gentle patter. Charlie slowly emerged from his hiding place, but the fear didn't disappear completely. Emma realized this was a challenge they would need to face together. The following days brought more storms, and each time Charlie would seek solace under the table, quivering and anxious. Emma knew she had to find a way to help him overcome his fear. She researched various methods online and learned about desensitization techniques. She decided to create a safe space for Charlie during storms, complete with blankets, his favorite toys, and calming music. One afternoon she set up a cozy area in her bedroom using pillows and blankets to create a small fortress. "This will be your safe haven, Charlie," she said, smiling as she showed him the space. He sniffed around, his tail wagging slightly as he investigated the new setup. Emma then began to play soft music whenever she sensed a storm approaching. She would sit in the safe space with Charlie, offering treats and praise whenever he showed signs of calm. Gradually, he began to spend more time in the bedroom, even during non-stormy days. Emma felt hopeful that with patience and love, Charlie would learn to cope with his fears. One evening during dinner, Emma received a phone call from Mrs. Henderson. "Emma dear, I hope you're well. I was wondering if you and Charlie would like to join me for a little gathering this weekend. I'm hosting some friends for a potluck, and it would be lovely to have you both," she said cheerfully. Emma hesitated, glancing at Charlie, who was lying peacefully at her feet. "That sounds wonderful, Mrs. Henderson. We'd love to come," she replied. The thought of socializing filled her with excitement, but a slight twinge of anxiety crept in. Would Charlie handle the noise and commotion of a gathering? As the weekend approached, Emma prepared for the potluck. She baked a batch of peanut butter dog treats for Charlie to share with the other dogs that might attend, while also preparing a dish for the humans. She decided to bring a warm casserole that she knew Mrs. Henderson would love. When the day arrived, Emma dressed in a comfortable outfit and placed a bow tie on Charlie, who looked adorable and slightly confused. "You're going to be the star of the show, buddy," she chuckled as she clipped on his leash. Upon arriving at Mrs. Henderson's home, the inviting aroma of food wafted through the air, mingling with laughter and chatter. Emma felt a mix of excitement and apprehension for Charlie. As they stepped inside, she was greeted by a crowd of friendly faces, all eager to meet the little dog. "Everyone, this is Charlie," Emma announced, kneeling down to let the guests greet him. Charlie was initially hesitant, his body tense as he met new people. However, Emma stayed close by, encouraging him with gentle pats and soft words. As the evening progressed, Charlie began to relax, especially when he encountered other dogs in the backyard. The little gathering turned into a delightful mix of laughter, food, and tail-wagging joy. Emma watched with a smile as Charlie played with a friendly beagle named Daisy, their playful barks filling the air. Suddenly the door swung open and a gust of wind rushed in, causing the room to fill with a loud clap of thunder. Emma's heart raced as she watched Charlie freeze. His playful demeanor vanished, replaced by fear. He darted to her side, trembling as he pressed against her leg. "Shh, it's okay, Charlie," Emma whispered, kneeling down and wrapping her arms around him. She felt the tension in his little body and knew they needed to retreat from the chaos. "Let's find a quiet place." Emma quickly led Charlie away from the noise, finding a small room at the back of the house. She shut the door behind them and sat on the floor, cradling him in her arms. "You're safe, Charlie. Just breathe," she murmured, stroking his fur as the thunder rumbled outside. As minutes passed, the storm continued to roar, but Emma held Charlie close, whispering calming words until the noise began to fade. Eventually, the storm passed, leaving behind a gentle rain. Charlie slowly began to relax, his breathing steadying as he nestled against Emma. After the storm subsided, Emma noticed the door slowly opening. Mrs. Henderson peeked in, concern etched across her face. "I'm so sorry, dear. I didn't realize how scared he was." "Are you two all right?" she asked softly. Emma smiled reassuringly, patting Charlie's back. "We're okay. Just needed a little break from all the excitement," she replied. Mrs. Henderson knelt down beside them, her eyes warm with understanding. "I had a dog just like him. Thunderstorms scared her to death, but we always found our way through it together," she shared, her voice gentle. "Sometimes all they need is a little love and reassurance." Emma nodded, grateful for the support. "I'm hoping he'll learn to be less afraid with time." With Mrs. Henderson's encouragement, they slowly emerged from the room. Emma felt a sense of relief wash over her as she realized Charlie was beginning to trust her more, even in moments of fear. They returned to the gathering, a little more subdued but together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The evening ended on a joyous note, filled with laughter and friendship, and as Emma drove home with Charlie nestled beside her, she felt a renewed sense of hope. They were a team, overcoming obstacles together, and she knew they would continue to grow stronger in their bond. Little did Emma know that their journey was about to take another unexpected turn, one that would test their resilience and bring them even closer together. As the days turned into weeks, Emma and Charlie settled into a comfortable routine. Emma continued to work at the library while Charlie became a familiar face in the neighborhood. His confidence was blossoming, and he even began to greet strangers with wagging tails instead of fear. Emma cherished these moments. They were reminders of how far Charlie had come since that fateful day under the bridge. One chilly morning in late November, Emma woke up to find the world covered in a soft blanket of snow. The first snowfall of the season transformed her neighborhood into a winter wonderland. Excitedly, she pulled on her warmest coat and boots, looking forward to sharing the experience with Charlie. "Guess what, Charlie? It's snow day," she exclaimed joyfully as she opened the door. Charlie bounded outside, his eyes wide with wonder as he stepped into the white landscape. He sniffed the air curiously, his tail wagging furiously as he took in the new sights and smells. Emma laughed as Charlie pounced into the snow, sending bright white powder flying into the air. She grabbed a handful of the soft, fluffy snow and tossed it playfully. Charlie leapt after it, digging his nose in and rolling around in delight. It was a heartwarming sight that made Emma's heart swell with happiness. For the next hour they played together, building a snowman and chasing each other around the yard. But as the fun progressed, Emma noticed that Charlie was becoming increasingly distracted, his focus shifting to the distant sound of children laughing and playing in the neighborhood park nearby. "Do you want to go meet some friends?" she asked, sensing his eagerness. Charlie perked up, barking excitedly in response. Emma led him toward the park, feeling her own excitement rise as they approached the playful scene. Upon arriving at the park, Emma was greeted by a group of familiar faces, other dog owners who frequented the park. The sight of wagging tails and happy barks filled the air, and Emma felt a wave of warmth wash over her. She let Charlie off his leash, watching him bound toward the other dogs with pure joy. Charlie quickly joined a pack of dogs playing tag, his previous shyness forgotten. Emma smiled as she chatted with the other dog owners, sharing stories and laughter while keeping a watchful eye on her little companion. However, as the day wore on, Emma noticed a change in the atmosphere. A new dog had arrived at the park, a large, boisterous Rottweiler named Max. He was energetic and assertive, bounding around with an enthusiasm that seemed to intimidate some of the smaller dogs, including Charlie. At first, Charlie stayed close to Emma, watching the larger dog from a distance. But as the Rottweiler approached their group, Charlie's anxiety began to resurface. Emma could see him tense up, his body language shifting as he instinctively backed away. "Hey, it's okay, buddy," Emma reassured him, crouching down to comfort him. "Just remember all those other dogs you've played with. You can do this." But Charlie's fear seemed to overwhelm him. As Max approached and started barking playfully, Charlie turned and darted away, his instincts kicking in. "Charlie, wait!" Emma called out, her heart racing as she watched him run toward the edge of the park. The snow crunched under his paws as he fled, his little body moving fast away from the noise. Emma hurried after him, calling his name, her voice filled with concern. Just as she reached the edge of the park, she saw Charlie stop near a small, frozen pond. He stood at the water's edge, panting heavily, his eyes wide with fear. Emma slowed her pace, trying to approach him gently. "Charlie, come here," she said softly, keeping her voice calm. But as she reached for him, he suddenly slipped on the icy ground and fell into the frigid water with a splash. "Charlie!" Emma screamed, panic flooding her heart. Before she could think, she rushed to the water's edge, her mind racing. The pond was shallow, but the icy water was a shock to Charlie, who flailed momentarily before finding his footing. He quickly scrambled out, shivering and soaked, his fur matted and heavy with water. Emma knelt down, her heart breaking at the sight of her little dog, trembling and confused. "Oh, Charlie, come here," she urged, her voice filled with worry. Charlie stumbled toward her, his body shaking uncontrollably. Emma wrapped her arms around him, pulling him close to her chest, feeling the chill radiate from his small body. "I've got you, buddy. You're okay," she whispered, trying to soothe him. Realizing they needed to get home quickly, Emma scooped Charlie up into her arms, cradling him against her warm coat. The other dog owners had gathered nearby, their eyes filled with concern as they watched the scene unfold. "Is he all right?" one of the other owners asked, stepping closer. "He's cold, but I think he'll be okay," Emma replied, though her heart raced with worry. She could feel Charlie's heart pounding against her as she made her way back home, her mind racing with thoughts of how she could help him recover from the shock. Once they arrived home, Emma immediately wrapped Charlie in a warm towel, gently drying him off as he shivered in her arms. "You're going to be okay, sweetheart," she assured him, her heart aching for the little dog who had faced yet another challenge. After a warm bath to remove the remnants of snow and ice, Emma settled onto the couch with Charlie, wrapping them both in a blanket. She held him close, feeling his warmth seep back into his little body. "It's just you and me now," she said softly, kissing the top of his head. As Charlie snuggled against her, Emma reflected on the day's events. She realized that their journey was far from over, and that they would continue to face challenges together. But through it all, she felt an unbreakable bond forming, one that was strengthened by each trial they faced. Little did Emma know, this incident would serve as a turning point for both her and Charlie, a moment that would teach them the true meaning of resilience and the power of companionship. They would rise from this together, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The next morning, Emma woke up to the soft sound of Charlie's gentle snores. The little dog had curled up next to her, draped across her lap as sunlight streamed through the window, casting a warm glow over the room. Emma smiled, feeling grateful that Charlie had made it through the ordeal of the previous day. Despite the mishap, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She resolved to help Charlie overcome not only his fear of thunderstorms but also his apprehension about larger dogs. She knew that facing fears was a process, and she would be by his side every step of the way. After breakfast, Emma decided it was time to focus on building Charlie's confidence. She planned a series of activities that would gradually expose him to new experiences while ensuring he felt safe and secure. They would start small, introducing him to new sounds and environments before eventually working their way up to more challenging situations. Their first activity involved a visit to a local pet store, where the sights, sounds, and smells would be a new adventure for Charlie. Emma had always enjoyed taking Max to the pet store, and she hoped Charlie would find joy in exploring as well. As they entered the bustling shop, Emma held Charlie's leash firmly, watching as he took in the colourful displays of toys and treats. The store was filled with barking dogs and excited children, but Charlie remained close to her side, his ears perked up and alert. "Let's go check out the toy section, shall we?" Emma suggested, guiding Charlie toward the aisle filled with squeaky toys and fluffy stuffed animals. She picked up a bright red ball and held it out to him. "What do you think, Charlie? Want to give it a try?" At first, Charlie hesitated, looking up at her with wide eyes. But as Emma rolled the ball a short distance away, his curiosity got the better of him. He cautiously approached it, sniffing the soft rubber before giving it a tentative nudge with his nose. "That's it, buddy. You can do it," Emma cheered, her heart swelling with pride. Encouraged by her enthusiasm, Charlie took a few steps back and then pounced on the ball, sending it bouncing across the floor. Emma laughed as he chased after it, his fear temporarily forgotten in the joy of play. They spent the next hour exploring the store, picking out treats and a new cozy blanket for Charlie. Emma felt a sense of accomplishment as she watched him grow more confident, his tail wagging vigorously by the time they left. "See? You're doing so well," she praised, kneeling down to give him a gentle scratch behind the ears. "I'm so proud of you." Once they returned home, Emma decided to take their training outside. She set up a mini obstacle course in the backyard using cones, hula hoops, and small jumps. "This is going to be fun, Charlie," she declared, her excitement contagious. Charlie looked at her with a mix of curiosity and uncertainty. "Trust me, it'll be like playing a game," Emma encouraged. She demonstrated the first jump, hopping over the small obstacle with a big smile. Charlie watched intently, his tail wagging slightly as he studied her movements. "Your turn," she said, beckoning him to join her. With a little coaxing, Charlie took a few hesitant steps toward the obstacle. Emma clapped her hands in encouragement. "Good boy. You can do it." After a few tries, Charlie finally jumped over the first hurdle, and Emma erupted in cheers. "That's it. You did it." Her joy seemed to infect Charlie as well, and he began to bound through the course with newfound enthusiasm. As the days turned into weeks, Emma continued to work with Charlie, gradually exposing him to larger dogs during their walks and at the dog park. Each time they encountered a new dog, she would remain calm and encouraging, helping him see that not all dogs were to be feared. One afternoon, while at the park, they met a friendly Labrador named Bella. She was playful and gentle, wagging her tail as she approached Charlie. Emma noticed that Charlie tensed up at first, but with her reassuring presence he began to relax. "Just say hello, Charlie. You got this," Emma encouraged, kneeling beside him. To her delight, Charlie took a cautious step forward, sniffing Bella's nose. The moment felt monumental, and Emma's heart soared as she watched him initiate a friendly play bow. Charlie and Bella began to play, their initial apprehension fading away. Emma watched from a distance, her heart filled with pride as she saw Charlie's joy return. It was a small victory, but each step forward was a testament to their journey together. However, it wasn't long before another challenge arose. One day, while on their usual walk, they encountered Max, the Rottweiler from the park, who was out for a stroll with his owner. Emma felt a pang of anxiety as she saw Charlie tense up, instinctively pulling back toward her. "Hey, it's okay, Charlie. Remember what we've practiced," she whispered, crouching down to his level. She kept her voice calm and soothing, hoping to reassure him. Charlie looked up at her, his eyes wide with uncertainty. As Max approached, Emma took a deep breath, trying to project confidence. "Hi there, this is Charlie," she called out to the friendly owner, hoping to create a positive atmosphere. Max's owner smiled and encouraged his dog to sit. "He's a big softie, I promise," she said, giving Max a gentle pat. "He just wants to say hello." Emma felt the tension in Charlie's body as he watched the large dog. She knew this moment was crucial. "Let's take it slow," she suggested, taking a step back to give Charlie some space. "Charlie, you can just observe for now." With encouragement, Charlie took a few hesitant steps forward, allowing himself to observe Max from a safe distance. Emma praised him for being brave, her heart racing as she hoped this would be a positive experience. Slowly, as Max remained calm and obedient, Charlie began to relax a little more. He watched the Rottweiler with a mix of curiosity and caution, and after a few moments, Emma encouraged him to take another step closer. "Remember, you are safe," she whispered. Charlie looked up at her, and for a fleeting moment the fear in his eyes seemed to wane. With a deep breath, he took a step closer to Max. "Good boy, Charlie. You're doing so well," Emma cheered softly, her heart swelling with pride. She felt a sense of triumph as Charlie sniffed the air, cautiously approaching the larger dog. Max remained calm, wagging his tail and allowing Charlie to take the lead. The moment felt electric, a testament to Charlie's resilience and the bond they had formed. Emma's heart soared as she witnessed this breakthrough. As they continued their walk, Emma felt a renewed sense of hope. They had faced so many challenges together, and each victory, no matter how small, brought them closer. With every step, she knew they were building a foundation of trust and love that would carry them through whatever lay ahead. But life is unpredictable, and their bond would soon be tested in ways they could never imagine, leading them to discover the true meaning of friendship, loyalty, and the strength that lies within both of them. As winter settled in, Emma and Charlie thrived together amid the frosty air and holiday spirit. Christmas decorations twinkled in the neighborhood, and Emma felt a sense of warmth as she prepared for the season. She decorated her home with strings of lights and hung ornaments on a small tree she had picked up at a local market, making sure to include a few pet-safe decorations for Charlie's amusement. One chilly afternoon, Emma decided to take Charlie for a stroll through the neighborhood. The streets were alive with the sounds of laughter and music, and the smell of freshly baked cookies wafted from houses adorned with holiday cheer. As they walked, Charlie's tail wagged happily, and Emma smiled as she watched him sniff at the various decorations lining the streets. "Looks like you're getting into the holiday spirit too, huh?" Emma chuckled, patting Charlie on the head. They passed by Mrs. Henderson's house, where she was busy hanging up her own decorations. Seeing Emma and Charlie, she waved enthusiastically. "Come in for some hot cocoa. I've made plenty, and I have some treats for Charlie too," Mrs. Henderson called out. Emma hesitated for a moment, but then nodded. "Sure, that sounds lovely." She felt a sense of comfort knowing that Mrs. Henderson always welcomed them with open arms. As they settled into Mrs. Henderson's cozy living room, surrounded by the warm glow of twinkling lights, Charlie curled up at Emma's feet, enjoying a special homemade dog treat. Emma sipped her cocoa, savoring the moment as she and Mrs. Henderson chatted about the upcoming holidays. However, as the days passed, Emma noticed changes in Charlie's behavior. He seemed more lethargic than usual, often lying on the couch instead of playing or going for walks. Emma's heart sank as she watched him, a knot of worry forming in her stomach. "Charlie, what's wrong, buddy?" she whispered one evening as she stroked his fur. He looked up at her with tired eyes, and an overwhelming sense of dread washed over her. After a few days of observing Charlie's decline, Emma decided it was time to visit the vet. The waiting room was filled with the sounds of barking dogs and the smell of antiseptic. Emma held Charlie close, trying to comfort him as they waited for the vet to call their name. When they were finally seen, Dr. Stevens, a warm and compassionate veterinarian, examined Charlie thoroughly. After checking his heart rate, temperature, and overall condition, he sat down beside Emma, his expression serious. "I'm afraid Charlie shows signs of something concerning," Dr. Stevens began gently. "He's lost some weight, and his energy levels are quite low. I recommend running some tests to get a clearer picture of what's going on." Emma nodded, her heart racing. "Is it serious?" she asked, her voice trembling. Dr. Stevens offered a reassuring smile. "Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We'll run the tests and see what we can find. It's always better to have more information." After what felt like an eternity, the tests were completed, and Emma paced nervously in the waiting room. When Dr. Stevens finally returned, his demeanor was more somber. "Emma, we've received the test results. I'm afraid Charlie has developed some health issues that we need to address," he said gently. Emma's heart sank as he explained. "He has a condition that affects his kidney function. It's manageable, but it will require ongoing treatment and dietary changes." Emma's mind raced with concern. "What does that mean for him?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "The good news is that with proper care, many dogs can live comfortably with this condition for quite some time," Dr. Stevens assured her. "However, it will be a commitment. He'll need a special diet and regular checkups to monitor his condition." Tears welled in Emma's eyes as she processed the information. "Of course, I want to do whatever it takes to help him," she said, her voice resolute. "He means the world to me." Dr. Stevens nodded, appreciating her dedication. "We'll start him on a special diet right away, and I'll provide you with resources to help manage his condition. It's important to monitor his energy levels and keep him hydrated. I know it feels overwhelming right now, but many pet owners find they can adjust to these changes." That evening, Emma returned home with a heavy heart, but also a renewed sense of purpose. She knew Charlie needed her now more than ever, and she was determined to ensure he received the best care possible. Over the next few weeks, Emma immersed herself in learning everything she could about Charlie's condition. She changed his diet, incorporating specially formulated food that would support his kidney function. She also set a routine for regular vet visits to monitor his health. Though Charlie had his ups and downs, Emma noticed small improvements. He had more energy during their daily walks, and he even began to show interest in playing again. Emma celebrated each little victory, grateful for the moments of joy they shared. However, as the holidays approached, Emma felt the weight of her responsibilities. While she loved Charlie deeply, the demands of his care began to take a toll on her, emotionally and physically. Late nights spent preparing his meals and managing his medication left her exhausted, and she worried about being able to balance everything. One evening, as Emma sat on the couch, Charlie curled up beside her, she felt a wave of sadness wash over her. She loved him fiercely, but the thought of losing him weighed heavily on her heart. "Why does it have to be so hard?" she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. Charlie lifted his head and nudged her hand with his nose, as if sensing her distress. Emma sighed, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. "I'm sorry, buddy. I just want you to be okay." As Christmas approached, Emma decided to embrace the holiday spirit despite the challenges. She planned a small gathering with close friends, hoping to create warm memories that would uplift her spirits. She invited Mrs. Henderson, who had been a source of comfort and support through the ups and downs of Charlie's journey. On Christmas Eve, Emma decorated her home with lights and ornaments, making sure to include a special spot for Charlie's treats. As friends arrived, the atmosphere filled with laughter, joy, and the aroma of delicious food. Charlie, wearing a festive scarf, greeted each guest with wagging tails and happy barks, drawing smiles from everyone. As they gathered around the table for dinner, Emma felt a sense of warmth envelop her. Surrounded by love and laughter, she felt grateful for the support of her friends who understood the challenges she faced. They shared stories, exchanged gifts, and celebrated the season of giving. As the evening wound down, Emma stepped outside with Charlie, needing a moment to reflect. The stars twinkled in the clear night sky, and the air was crisp and fresh. Charlie sniffed the ground, his tail wagging as he explored the yard. "Look how far you've come, Charlie," Emma said softly, kneeling beside him. "You've brought so much joy into my life, and I'll do everything I can to make sure you're happy and healthy." Charlie glanced up at her, his eyes sparkling with affection, and Emma felt a surge of love wash over her. It was in these moments that she realized the true strength of their bond, a connection forged through love, trust, and resilience. As they returned inside, Emma felt a renewed sense of hope. Challenges would come and go, but together they would face whatever the future held. With each day she vowed to cherish the moments they shared, holding on to the belief that love could conquer even the darkest of days. Little did Emma know the true test of their bond was still to come, revealing the depth of their connection and the lengths they would go to for one another. As the new year rolled in, Emma felt a mix of hope and apprehension. She was determined to make the most of every moment with Charlie, knowing that their time together might be limited. The diagnosis weighed heavily on her mind, but she was committed to giving him the best life possible. Charlie seemed to thrive amidst the festive atmosphere, his spirits lifted by the love and joy surrounding him. Their days were filled with long walks, gentle play, and cozy afternoons spent cuddling on the couch. Emma had adjusted her routine to accommodate Charlie's needs, ensuring he received his medication on time and that his special diet was carefully maintained. One chilly morning, Emma decided to take Charlie on a little adventure. She packed a picnic basket with his favorite treats and some delicious snacks for herself before heading to a nearby nature reserve. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow over the landscape, and Emma felt a spark of excitement as they set off on their journey. As they walked along the winding trails, Charlie's energy seemed boundless. He bounded through the snow, leaving little paw prints behind. Emma laughed as he chased after a few birds, his spirit shining bright. It was moments like these that reminded her of their resilience and the joy they brought to each other's lives. After finding a lovely clearing, Emma set up their picnic. She laid out a blanket and let Charlie enjoy some of his special treats while she savored her homemade sandwich. As they relaxed together, Emma felt grateful for the moment, watching Charlie bask in the sunshine, his fur glistening like gold. However, as they started to pack up, Emma noticed Charlie acting strangely. He began to pace around the blanket, sniffing the ground nervously. Concerned, she knelt beside him. "What's wrong, buddy?" she asked, noticing that his tail was tucked low. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the trees, a group of children laughing and playing with a loud toy. Charlie froze, his body tense as he looked toward the sound. Emma's heart sank as she realized he was becoming overwhelmed. "Hey, it's all right, Charlie, just some kids having fun," she reassured him, trying to keep her voice calm. But Charlie was already backing away, his instinct to flee kicking in. "No, wait," Emma said, reaching out for him. Before she could grab his leash, Charlie bolted down the trail, panic driving him to run. Emma's heart raced as she called after him, "Charlie, come back!" She sprinted after him, desperation fueling her chase. As she ran, Emma's mind raced with fear. What if he got lost? What if he hurt himself? The thought of losing him was unbearable. She called his name repeatedly, her voice echoing through the trees, hoping to catch his attention. After what felt like an eternity, Emma finally spotted Charlie up ahead. He had stopped near the edge of the trail, panting heavily, his eyes wide with fear. Emma slowed down, cautiously approaching him. "Charlie, it's okay. I'm right here," she said softly, kneeling down to his level. As she drew closer, Charlie looked at her, confusion and fear mingling in his gaze. Emma reached out, gently placing her hand on his back. "You're safe. I promise, she whispered, trying to soothe his racing heart. With her reassurance, Charlie took a hesitant step forward, allowing Emma to slip the leash back on. "Let's get out of here," she said, her voice steady as she guided him back down the trail. Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her as they walked away from the noise, but her heart ached for Charlie. Once they reached the car, Emma opened the door and helped Charlie inside. She took a moment to gather herself, breathing deeply to calm her racing heart. "I'm so sorry, Charlie. I didn't mean for that to happen," she murmured, stroking his fur gently. As they drove home, Emma reflected on the incident. It was a stark reminder that while Charlie had made incredible progress, his past experiences still haunted him. The journey of healing was not linear. It had its ups and downs. That evening, Emma decided to spend extra time comforting Charlie. She prepared a warm meal for him and snuggled up on the couch, wrapping them both in a cozy blanket. "We'll take it slow, buddy. I'm not going anywhere," she promised, feeling a sense of determination rise within her.
As January rolled on, they continued to face challenges together. Emma remained committed to helping Charlie overcome his fears, but she also noticed that his health seemed to fluctuate. Some days he was energetic and playful, while other days he appeared lethargic and disinterested. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day, Emma sat on the couch with Charlie curled up beside her. She gently stroked his fur, her heart heavy with concern. "I wish I could make this all better for you," she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. Charlie looked up at her, his eyes filled with love and understanding. Just then, the phone rang. It was Dr. Stevens calling with the results of Charlie's recent tests. Emma's heart raced as she answered, bracing herself for the news. "Emma, I wanted to discuss Charlie's latest results with you," Dr. Stevens said, his tone serious. "While he's been stable, I'm seeing some concerning indicators. His kidney function has declined a bit more than I had hoped, and we may need to consider more intensive treatment options." Emma felt her heart drop. "What does that mean for him?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It means we need to act quickly. We can either start a new medication regimen or consider a more aggressive treatment approach," Dr. Stevens explained. "I understand this is difficult, but I want to ensure we're doing what's best for Charlie." As Emma listened, her mind raced with thoughts and emotions. She wanted to do everything she could for Charlie, but the weight of the decision felt overwhelming. "I need time to think about it," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. "Of course, take your time. I'm here to support you both," Dr. Stevens said gently. "Just know that we have options, and we'll find a course of action that works for Charlie." After hanging up, Emma sat in silence, her heart heavy with indecision. She loved Charlie fiercely and wanted to give him the best chance at a long, happy life. But the thought of putting him through more treatments filled her with anxiety. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay awake thinking about all the moments they had shared, the laughter, the love, the bond that had grown between them. Charlie had been her rock during difficult times, and now it was her turn to be his. As dawn broke, Emma made her decision. She would consult with Dr. Stevens about the best treatment options for Charlie. She wanted to ensure he received the care he needed, but she also wanted to prioritize his quality of life. With newfound determination, Emma resolved to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She knew that their journey was far from over, but together they would navigate this path, hand in paw, united by love and resilience. Little did Emma know that the choice she was about to make would not only test her strength, but also reveal the depths of their bond in ways she could never have anticipated. The following days were filled with a mix of hope and anxiety as Emma prepared to meet with Dr. Stevens again. She spent hours researching Charlie's condition, reading about treatment options and their potential side effects. Every article she read brought a new wave of confusion and concern. Would aggressive treatment be worth the toll it might take on Charlie? On the day of the appointment, Emma arrived at the vet's office with Charlie, who seemed more subdued than usual. She gently held his leash, noticing how he walked beside her with an air of trust, oblivious to the weight of the decisions ahead of them. When they were called into the examination room, Dr. Stevens greeted them warmly. "Emma, Charlie, it's good to see you both. How has he been doing?" he asked, as he prepared to review Charlie's latest test results. Emma sighed, glancing at Charlie, who was lying on the floor, his head resting on his paws. "He has his good days and bad days," she admitted. "I want to know what our options are." Dr. Stevens nodded, his demeanor professional yet kind. "I understand. Let's go over the results." He sat down beside them and carefully explained Charlie's condition, outlining both the medication regimen and the more intensive treatment options available. Charlie could benefit from a new medication that may help stabilize his kidney function further, Dr. Stevens explained. It's less invasive and would allow him to maintain a good quality of life. The alternative is a more aggressive treatment that involves a series of injections, which could help, but may also come with significant side effects. Emma listened intently, her heart racing. "What are the side effects?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Some dogs experience nausea, fatigue, and a temporary decline in their appetite. It can be hard on their systems, but it may also extend their lives," Dr. Stevens replied, his tone gentle yet straightforward. "Ultimately, it's about weighing the benefits against the potential risks." Emma felt a lump form in her throat. "What would you recommend?" she asked, looking into Dr. Stevens' compassionate eyes. "I would recommend starting with the new medication," he replied. "It's less invasive and may provide the support Charlie needs without compromising his quality of life. If his condition changes, we can always reevaluate and explore the more aggressive treatments later." Charlie lifted his head, looking at Emma with trusting eyes, and she felt her heart swell with love for him. She thought about all the moments they had shared, the joy, the companionship, and the unwavering bond that had formed between them. "I want what's best for him," she said firmly. "I'll follow your recommendation." Dr. Stevens smiled, appreciating her dedication. "That's a good choice, Emma. We'll monitor Charlie closely and make adjustments as needed. It's essential to keep him comfortable and happy." After the appointment, Emma felt a sense of relief wash over her. She'd made a decision that felt right for Charlie, and she was determined to support him through whatever came next. They returned home and she prepared Charlie's new medication, making sure to mix it with his food so he wouldn't notice. Over the next few weeks, Emma noticed subtle changes in Charlie. While he still had his moments of fatigue, he also displayed bursts of energy that filled her with hope. He seemed to enjoy their walks more, wagging his tail as they explored the neighborhood together. But just as she began to feel optimistic, another challenge arose. One evening, while Emma was preparing dinner, she heard a loud crash from the living room. Rushing in, she found Charlie standing beside a broken lamp, looking guilty but unhurt. "Charlie, what happened?" Emma exclaimed, her heart racing. She quickly checked to see if he was okay, and to her relief he seemed unharmed. But the sight of the shattered lamp filled her with frustration. As she cleaned up the mess, she wondered if Charlie's anxiety had returned. The loud noise must have startled him, causing him to jump and accidentally knock the lamp over. Emma knelt beside him, stroking his fur gently. "It's okay, buddy. Let's just try to be more careful, all right?" Charlie looked up at her, his eyes filled with remorse, and Emma's heart softened. She realized that his journey was not only about overcoming his health issues, but also about navigating the world around him without fear. In the days that followed, Emma focused on creating a calm environment for Charlie. She played soothing music, practiced gentle training exercises, and ensured that he felt safe in their home. She wanted to help him build confidence, knowing that their bond was essential to his well-being. One afternoon, Emma received a call from Mrs. Henderson, inviting her and Charlie to a small gathering at her house. "We're having a little get-together, and I would love for you both to join us," she said, her voice cheerful. Emma felt a wave of warmth and gratitude. "That sounds lovely, Mrs. Henderson. We'd be happy to come." She thought about how much Charlie enjoyed the company of others, and she hoped that the gathering would lift his spirits.
On the day of the gathering, Emma dressed Charlie in a festive sweater, a bright red that matched the holiday spirit. He looked adorable as he trotted beside her, tail wagging in excitement. When they arrived at Mrs. Henderson's house, the warmth of friendship enveloped them. The living room was filled with laughter, and the scent of delicious food wafted through the air. Charlie eagerly greeted the guests, his nervousness forgotten as he basked in the attention. As the evening progressed, Emma felt her heart lighten. She joined her friends in conversation, sharing stories and laughter. Charlie mingled with other dogs, playing and exploring the space. For a moment, Emma forgot about the worries that had loomed over her. But just as she was beginning to relax, a loud noise erupted from the kitchen. A pot had fallen, clattering to the floor, and Emma watched in horror as Charlie froze, his body tense with fear. Before she could react, he bolted from the room, darting toward the front door. "Charlie, no!" Emma shouted, panic rising within her as she chased after him. She reached the door just as he slipped outside into the cold night. "Charlie!" she called, her voice filled with desperation. She stepped out into the darkness, scanning the yard for any sign of him. "Charlie, come back!" Her heart pounded in her chest as she searched for him. The chilly air bit at her cheeks, but she pushed through her fear, determined to find her little companion. "Charlie!" she called again, her voice trembling. After what felt like an eternity, Emma spotted him near the edge of the yard, trembling and looking back at her with wide, fearful eyes. She slowly approached, her heart aching at the sight of her beloved dog in distress. "It's okay, buddy. I'm right here," she said softly, kneeling down to his level. "You're safe. I promise." Charlie hesitated, but with her gentle voice and open arms, he slowly made his way back to her side. Emma wrapped her arms around him, holding him close as he trembled against her. "I've got you, Charlie. It's okay," she whispered, feeling tears prick at her eyes. As they stood together in the quiet of the night, Emma realized the weight of the challenges they faced. It wasn't just about Charlie's health. It was about navigating a world filled with fear and uncertainty, together. After returning inside, Emma took a deep breath, knowing that they would have to work through this anxiety. She decided to take things slow, providing Charlie with a safe space where he could feel secure. From that moment on, Emma continued to focus on building Charlie's confidence, helping him confront his fears while ensuring he felt loved and supported. She knew their journey was far from over, but she remained steadfast in her commitment to being there for him, no matter what lay ahead. Little did Emma know that the true test of their bond was just around the corner, bringing challenges that would further strengthen their connection and reveal the true meaning of loyalty and love. As winter deepened, Emma and Charlie faced both the beauty and challenges of the season. The world outside was a breathtaking canvas of white, but the cold weather brought with it an increased struggle for Charlie as his health continued to fluctuate. Emma remained vigilant, monitoring his condition closely, ensuring that he was comfortable and warm. One particularly frigid evening, Emma noticed that Charlie seemed more lethargic than usual. He lay curled up on his blanket, his breathing shallow. She felt a knot of worry tighten in her stomach. "Hey, buddy, are you okay?" she asked softly, kneeling beside him. Charlie opened his eyes and looked at her, his tail giving a faint wag, but she could see the fatigue in his gaze. Feeling a sense of urgency, Emma decided to call Dr. Stevens for advice. After discussing Charlie's symptoms over the phone, Dr. Stevens recommended bringing him in for a checkup to ensure his kidney function was stable and that there were no underlying issues. The next morning, Emma bundled Charlie in a warm blanket and drove to the vet's office. She felt anxious as she held him close, whispering soothing words. "It'll be all right, Charlie. We're going to make sure you're okay," she reassured him, though her heart raced with worry. At the vet, Dr. Stevens examined Charlie thoroughly, running tests and monitoring his vitals. After what felt like hours, he returned to speak with Emma. "Charlie's kidney function has declined a bit and we may need to adjust his medication," he explained.
But I want to emphasize that we can still manage this. It's important to keep him hydrated and maintain a consistent routine. Emma nodded, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. What can I do to help him? She asked earnestly. Staying on top of his diet is crucial, and we can explore options for hydration. Sometimes subcutaneous fluids can help if he's not drinking enough on his own, Dr. Stevens suggested. We'll also keep a close eye on his energy levels and adjust his treatment as needed. As they left the vet's office, Emma felt both hopeful and anxious. She was determined to do everything in her power to help Charlie, but the reality of his condition weighed heavily on her heart. That evening, as a storm approached, Emma prepared for the worst. She set up a cozy space in the living room, complete with blankets and his favorite toys. "Let's get ready for the storm, Charlie," she said, trying to keep her tone light. Charlie seemed more alert, sensing the change in the atmosphere. As the wind howled outside and the rain began to pour, Emma wrapped herself and Charlie in a blanket, holding him close. She played soft music to drown out the sound of the storm, hoping it would soothe him. But as the thunder crackled and lightning flashed, Charlie's anxiety resurfaced. He trembled against her, his eyes wide with fear. "You're safe with me, buddy," Emma whispered, cradling him in her arms. She felt his heart racing against her chest, and her own heart ached for him. The storm raged on, and Emma felt a surge of determination. "Let's practice what we've been working on," she said, trying to encourage him. "You can do this." With gentle coaxing, she guided Charlie through some calming exercises they had practiced before. They focused on breathing together, and with each deep breath, Emma felt Charlie slowly begin to relax. She held him tightly, whispering words of encouragement. "You're so brave, Charlie. We'll get through this together." As the storm continued to rage outside, Emma's heart swelled with love for her little companion. She realized that these moments, even the difficult ones, were a testament to the bond they had formed. They were a team, and together they could face anything. When the storm finally subsided, Emma felt a wave of relief wash over her. Charlie had made it through, and as he snuggled closer to her, she felt a renewed sense of hope. They had faced yet another challenge together, and she knew that they would continue to rise above whatever lay ahead. In the days that followed, Emma continued to monitor Charlie closely, ensuring he took his medication and was eating well. She also began to incorporate hydration options into his routine, making sure he had access to fresh water at all times. One evening, as they settled down on the couch, Emma reflected on their journey. The challenges they had faced had only strengthened their bond, and she felt grateful for every moment they shared. "I love you, Charlie," she whispered, kissing the top of his head. "We're in this together, always." But just as she began to feel a sense of stability, another storm was brewing, one that would test their bond in ways they could never have anticipated. As spring approached, Emma hoped that the change of season would bring brighter days for Charlie. She diligently followed Dr. Stevens's recommendations, ensuring that Charlie received his medication and proper care. For a while they enjoyed moments of joy, with Charlie displaying bursts of energy and enthusiasm that filled Emma's heart with hope. One sunny afternoon, Emma decided to take Charlie to the park, where the flowers were beginning to bloom and the trees were starting to sprout new leaves. She felt a sense of optimism as they walked through the vibrant landscape. Charlie trotted beside her, his tail wagging as he explored the new sense of springtime. At the park, they encountered familiar faces, friends and fellow dog owners who greeted them with smiles. Emma felt a sense of community and support, and Charlie thrived in the social atmosphere, playing with other dogs and basking in the attention. But as the days turned into weeks, Emma began to notice changes in Charlie once again. His energy levels fluctuated, and he seemed to tire more easily during their walks. Emma's heart sank as she watched him struggle, the weight of his condition pressing heavily on her mind. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Emma noticed that Charlie did not seem interested in his food. Panic rose within her as she gently coaxed him to eat, but he turned away, his eyes filled with a sadness that pierced her heart. "Please, Charlie, you have to eat," she urged, desperately trying to encourage him. When he still refused, Emma felt a wave of dread wash over her. She knew that this was a serious sign, and she immediately called Dr. Stevens for guidance. After explaining Charlie's symptoms, Dr. Stevens recommended bringing him in for another checkup. The next morning, Emma drove Charlie to the vet, anxiety gripping her heart. She knew the signs all too well, and the thought of losing him was unbearable. As they arrived at the clinic, Emma held Charlie close, whispering words of comfort. Dr. Stevens examined Charlie thoroughly, running blood tests and assessing his overall condition. After what felt like hours, he returned to speak with Emma, his expression grave. "Emma, I'm afraid Charlie's condition has progressed more rapidly than we anticipated," he said gently. "His kidney function has declined significantly, and he is now showing signs of kidney failure." Emma's heart shattered at the words. "What does that mean for him?" she asked, tears streaming down her cheeks. Dr. Stevens took a deep breath. "We can try to manage his symptoms and keep him comfortable, but the reality is that Charlie may not have much time left. We can discuss options for palliative care, but I want you to be fully aware of what that entails." The room felt heavy with silence as Emma processed the information. "No, please, there has to be something we can do," she pleaded, desperation creeping into her voice. Dr. Stevens gently shook his head. "I understand how difficult this is, but sometimes the kindest thing we can do is to allow them to go peacefully when the time comes. We can discuss making him comfortable at home, or we can talk about euthanasia if that becomes necessary." Emma felt her heart racing, panic rising within her. The thought of losing Charlie was unimaginable. "I can't. He's my everything," she cried, overwhelmed with grief. "I can't bear the thought of saying goodbye." "I know it's incredibly hard," Dr. Stevens said softly, "but you have to think about what Charlie would want. He deserves to be free from pain and fear. You've given him so much love, and he knows that." The words struck Emma like a bolt of lightning. In that moment, she realized that her love for Charlie meant being selfless, even if it meant letting him go. She hugged him tightly, feeling the warmth of his little body against her chest. "I love you, Charlie. I don't want you to suffer," she whispered, her heart breaking. As they drove home, the world outside felt different. The vibrant colors of spring now seemed muted, the joy of the park visits replaced by an overwhelming sense of sadness. Emma held Charlie close as they entered the house, tears streaming down her face. "What do I do without you?" she cried, cradling him in her arms. In the days that followed, Emma focused on making Charlie as comfortable as possible. She set up a cozy space for him in the living room, filling it with soft blankets and his favorite toys. She played calming music and spoke to him, reminiscing about the wonderful moments they had shared. Despite her efforts, Charlie's condition continued to decline. He grew weaker, and Emma felt the weight of the impending goodbye hanging over them. She knew the time was coming, and with each passing day her heart ached more. One evening, as the sun set, casting a warm glow over the room, Emma sat beside Charlie, stroking his fur gently. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she whispered, "You've been my best friend, Charlie. I'm so grateful for every moment we've shared. You filled my life with so much love." Charlie looked up at her, and in that moment, Emma felt a deep connection, a bond that transcended words. She knew he understood her, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. "You can let go, buddy. I'll be okay," she promised, knowing that it was time to make the hardest decision of her life. That night, Emma called Dr. Stevens and made arrangements for Charlie's final visit. She felt a mixture of heartbreak and relief, knowing that she was doing the right thing for him. It was a decision born out of love, a gift of peace for her beloved companion. The next day, Emma held Charlie close as they made their way to the vet. She felt his warmth against her, and she whispered sweet words of comfort, thanking him for all the joy he had brought into her life. "You'll always be my little hero," she said softly, tears streaming down her face. At the clinic, Dr. Stevens guided them into a quiet room, creating a serene atmosphere filled with compassion and love.
Emma cradled Charlie in her arms, whispering her love as they prepared for the final goodbye. She felt a mix of fear and sadness, but also an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the time they had shared. As the procedure began, Emma felt Charlie's body relax against her. She held him tightly, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "You're free now, Charlie. You can run and play, and you'll always be in my heart." In that moment, Emma felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. She knew that Charlie had given her the greatest gift of all, the gift of unconditional love, and as she said goodbye, she felt a sense of gratitude for the journey they had shared. Afterward, Emma left the clinic feeling hollow, but also filled with love. She knew that Charlie would always be a part of her, a reminder of the joy and companionship that had defined their time together. In the weeks that followed, Emma mourned the loss of her beloved friend, but she also celebrated the memories they had created. She found solace in the little things: a wagging tail, a gentle bark, the laughter of children playing in the park. Charlie had left pawprints on her heart, and she knew that his spirit would always be with her. As spring blossomed around her, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose. She began volunteering at a local animal shelter, honoring Charlie's memory by helping other animals in need. Through her love and dedication, she knew she could make a difference and continue the legacy of love that Charlie had inspired within her. Though Charlie was gone, the lessons he had taught her remained. Love, resilience, and the power of companionship were woven into the very fabric of her being. And as she looked up at the sky, she felt a sense of peace, knowing that Charlie was watching over her, forever her little hero. Months passed, and as Emma continued her journey of healing, she found joy in the memories of Charlie, the adventures they had shared, the laughter, and the bond that had transformed her life. She knew that while he was no longer physically by her side, his spirit lived on in her heart. One sunny afternoon, while volunteering at the shelter, Emma met a little dog named Bella, a scruffy terrier mix with big, soulful eyes. Bella had her own story of resilience, having been rescued from a difficult situation. As Emma knelt down to greet her, she felt an instant connection. "Hey there, sweet girl," Emma said softly, reaching out to give Bella a gentle scratch behind the ears. The little dog wagged her tail, looking up at Emma with a mix of curiosity and hope. In that moment, Emma realized that love knows no bounds. Just as she had shared her life with Charlie, there was another soul in need of companionship and care. With a heart filled with love, she decided to take Bella home, knowing that together they could create new memories and continue the legacy of compassion that Charlie had inspired. Emma looked forward to the journey ahead, embracing the lessons learned and the love that would continue to grow. With each wagging tail and gentle bark, she knew that the spirit of her beloved Charlie would always be with her, guiding her through life's adventures, pawprints forever etched in her heart. As Emma embarks on a new chapter of her life, honoring Charlie's memory and embracing new beginnings with Bella, we're left with a powerful reminder of the love and companionship that pets bring into our lives. Their journey teaches us to cherish every moment and to open our hearts to new adventures. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Pawprints Forever, like this video, and share it with fellow animal lovers. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and how your pets have impacted your life. Thank you for being part of our community.